Hello guys, welcome back to South Asian Report. In this video, I'm going to explain the major economic indicators of Bangladesh, and it is for the fiscal year 2023. So let's move on. First of all, we are going to see the GDP growth rate, and in this video mostly we will explain the cross comparisons of between different fiscal years. So let's check out the GDP growth rate. This data is according to World Bank and BBS. So as you can see, the GDP growth rate in the percentage from the fiscal year 24 and 25 of the World Bank's forecast here, these two fiscal year, and previous two fiscal 3 or 4 fiscal year, which is done by the Bangladesh Bureau of Statistics. So in this fiscal year 2023, you can see that the forecast is 6.03%, which is about to be 6.2%, slightly increased in the fiscal year 24, and in 25 it will be 6.4%. So let's move on to the consumer price index of the inflation, actually consumer price index, which is referred to the inflation. This data is taken from World Bank. So as you can see, in the fiscal year 20, the inflation was 5.6%, but it has gradually increased. In the fiscal year 21, it's 5.6%, which is still stable, but in fiscal year 22, which reached to 6.1%, and in this current fiscal year, according to the World Bank, it is 8.6%. So as you know that the current inflation rate of Bangladesh is more than 9%, which is a bit higher than this average of fiscal year 23 according to the World Bank. And World Bank estimates that in the fiscal year 24, the consumer price index or the inflation will be grow down or slow down, which is 6.5% to 5.7% in the fiscal year 25. And let's move on to the forex reserve. As you can see, this is the forex reserve of Bangladesh Bank, and in the fiscal year 20, our forex reserve was $36.03 billion, and which is reached to $46.39 billion, ever high in the fiscal year 21. This is the highest peak of the foreign reserve in the Bangladesh Bank. And so we can see that gradually this forex reserve is declining from this peak of $46.39 billion, which is reduced to $41.82 billion in the fiscal year 22, and to fiscal year 23, this current fiscal year, the reserve is $30 billion. And now currently Bangladesh Bank got some loan payments, received some loan payments from IMF, which reached the reserves to 31.5 billion. But in the next month, Bangladesh Bank has to pay nearly $1 billion for the AKU payment, which is for the import bill. So the foreign reserve will be again reduced to $30 billion. And according to the forecast, in fiscal year 24, the reserve will be still remain 31.5 billion, which is slightly higher than the current fiscal year. Okay. Now let's check out the remittance growth in Bangladesh. Alright, in these compilations of data, you can easily see that there is a bit congestion, and as you can see, these portions of the data is of remittance growth. So we can see that remittance has grown 2% nearly in the fiscal year 23, and which is supposed to increase nearly about 10% in the fiscal year 24. So in the last fiscal year, that we can see remittance growth has fall down to minus 15.1%, and which was ever high in fiscal year 21, which is 36.1% higher than the fiscal year 20. So remittance has bounced back to the positive growth rate, which is a very good indicator for the economy of Bangladesh. Now we are going to see the export growth according to Bangladesh Bank data. So as you can see, this is export growth rate, the chart of export growth rate. So in the fiscal year 2020, in the fiscal year 20, Bangladesh export has reduced to minus 18.9%, which is because of the COVID-19 pandemic and worldwide lockdown. And in fiscal year 21, even though many countries has experienced the negative growth, but Bangladesh shows some positive growth, which is 14.9% in the fiscal year 21. And again, in fiscal year 22, Bangladesh has shown a positive, higher growth, a positive and even more higher growth, which is 33.4%. As you can see, this is a big achievement for Bangladesh. And this fiscal year, in fiscal year 23, Bangladesh got 7% the export growth. As you know that in recent data, according to the Export Bureau, EPB, Export Promotion Bureau, Bangladesh's recent this fiscal year's export is about $55.55 billion. So this is also a big achievement for Bangladesh in this fiscal year, and which is supposed to increase more, which is 10% in the next fiscal year. So our export is in a good track, even though the global recessions and slowdown of the economy. Bangladesh has shown some positive export growth in the world due to the robust RMG sectors of Bangladesh. This is become reality. So now let's check out the import growth rate or import chart of import growth, which is a big trouble for Bangladesh because of the crisis in foreign exchange reserve and also the dollar rate, higher dollar rate. So you can see that in fiscal year 20, the import was reduced to minus 8.6%, and in fiscal year 21, which reached to 19.7%. Due to the COVID pandemic, Bangladesh government has to import a lot of product from other countries, because of the higher import. There is a problem for the inflation in the economy. So in fiscal year 22, you can see that, which is a big margin from the fiscal year 21, which is 35.9%. It is ever high in the import, and it has also increased the balance of trade for this fiscal year particularly. And government has eventually noticed that this is lead to higher inflation in the economy, and government had decided some contractionary monetary policy, which reached to the which has blocked the unnecessary import from other countries. So that is because of that reasons in this fiscal year 23, that import has reduced to minus 15%, which is a good sign to protect the indigenous manufacturers and companies. It is a big chance for the domestic companies to grow. And according to Bangladesh Bank data, this fiscal year 24, the import growth will be again come back to 8% in the next fiscal year. So as you know that some little or small buyers who are dependent on import business, they are getting hampered in this moment, because some business are always dependent on the import, so they are in trouble. So there is always need some import, positive import from the other countries. So it is a good sign that when it has come back to the positive track. So this is all for the comparative analysis of the major economic indicators of Bangladesh. Now let's have a look on the scenario of remittance flow in Bangladesh in the last fiscal year up to June. As you can see, the trends of remittance inflow in Bangladesh in the respective fiscal year. In this fiscal year, Bangladesh has got 21.6 billion, $61 billion, which is higher, slightly higher than the last fiscal year 22, which is $21.03 billion. So this is because of the one of the biggest festival of Muslim festivals in Bangladesh, which is Eid al-Adha, and the immigrants has sent a lot of remittance to Bangladesh because of the festival, which is nearly 35 months higher, and in the last month of June they have sent 2.12 billion US dollar. It is a big boost for the current crisis of dollar in the economy. So thank you guys for joining me. Hope to see you in the next blog with another important topics. See you next time. Peace.